Okay. The first slide here just gives us an agenda of what we'll be talking through this morning. We'll go through the process and timeline for our funding process, talk about eligibility for organizations, and then how organizations can submit an application. The purpose of Union County Community Partner Grant Funding is to provide Union County the opportunity to partner with nonprofit agencies to provide services to the community where service gaps may exist and to meet the needs in the community. Historically, Union County has funded community partners, and recently, like Blake mentioned, there's been an increase in these inquiries from new organizations. So just last year, we started to open up the process, make it more transparent and available to other organizations. And the point there at the bottom is just that organizations know funding is limited and subject to budget availability. Whether your agency is new in the process or has been funded in the past, we do require applications each year and there's no guarantee for funding. Back to that just a little bit, we get a lot of questions about how much organizations are funded, and there's no set funding amount. It just is based on the need and the priorities in the community. The deadline to apply for fiscal year 22 funding is January 15th, 2021. We need to receive applications by 5 o'clock that day. So if you'll just make a note of that day, and that's listed on the application as well. Once our office receives the applications back, we will compile those to be reviewed by a staff-based review panel. And that review will happen around February and March after applications have been turned in. That review panel will make recommendations to the county manager to include in his recommended budget, which will be presented in about May of next year. Between the budget being recommended and adopted, we hold a public hearing where the Board of County Commissioners receives comment from the public regarding the budget. So that would be an opportunity for organizations to speak on the budget. And once the schedule is finalized and we get closer to that time frame, May and June, we will distribute some additional information on how organizations can speak, register or sign up to speak at that meeting if interested. And then the budget, the fiscal year 2022 budget, which offers funding from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, will be adopted around June of 2021. Regardless of an organization is included in the recommended budget or approved for funding, we will follow up with all organizations that apply just to keep you involved in the process. This is a list of the eligibility requirements for organizations. We ask that organizations serve residents of Union County, as this is Union County taxpayers' dollars that is being distributed. The organization should be designated as a nonprofit 501c3 with the IRS. Financial statements are required that are audited by an independent CPA. We'll get to this next one a little bit in more detail. The Board of County Commissioners has adopted 5 strategic objectives. And so we ask that you choose one that your organization supports or clearly aligns with. Documentation to support a diversified workforce, membership with a professional affiliation, and that an organization is registered with the Secretary of State's office and is in good standing. If your organization does not meet some of these eligibility criteria, please reach out to me directly. We can talk through it. For instance, if your organization is in the process of applying for a 501c3 and that status might not be finalized by the time the application is due, there might be some flexibility as long as it will be finalized before funding is granted. So we can kind of talk through those in more detail, but feel free to reach out. This next bit is just about the financial statements. Like I mentioned before, we do ask for financial statements to be prepared in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles and audited by an independent CPA. And the CPA should issue a clean and unqualified opinion. If your financial statements are not audited by an independent CPA, but they are reviewed or compiled by an auditor or board of directors, that may still be sufficient. And so just communicate that with us. These are the strategic objectives that the Board of County Commissioners has adopted that I previously mentioned. This detail is listed on the application, so you'll have the opportunity to read through this in the application and determine which one best fits with your program's goals. Those are public safety, community consensus, economic development, sustainability, and organizational strengthening. This is a screenshot of the Secretary of State's office website. Organizations should be listed as current or active with no suspensions or overdue taxes. That would make an organization ineligible. So I've listed this here just to refer back if you're interested in doing a search on your organization, but we'll also confirm this when applications come in. I'd like to just walk through where you can access the applications from our website and provide you with a little bit more detail about that. Let's see. I'm going to flip over to the Internet Explorer, so bear with me just a second while I kind of transition. This is the Union County homepage that you see here. When you come to unioncountync.gov, we have a banner at the top that includes a direct link to the community partner funding page. It's the second bullet here, but you'll see it scroll through. If you click on this, click here for eligibility information, it will take you, and I'm sorry I missed that. Let me go back here. It will take you to our budget management page. There's a separate tab here just for community partner funding, and it provides all the information about our program with deadlines. Contact information is at the bottom. The application and required documentation are linked here. Just a few points about the application. When you open it here from the website, it will open it as another URL browser window. So you'll want to right-click on the document and click Save As to save it to your computer before you begin entering information. If you start, it is a fillable form. So if you start filling in the fields while it's in the URL, the web page version, it's not going to save for you. So you'll want to save the document to your computer before you start making changes. When I do that in Internet Explorer, depending on what browser you're using, it opens just a bit differently. In this instance, I'm going to show you if we come over to this government, you can flip down to the budget management page, and that takes you there as well if you're not finding it on the banner. Click on the Community Partner Request tab, and then again on the application. This does have a Save As option. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong. Having a bit of a delay. I apologize. Okay, if I click here on the application in Internet Explorer, it opens just a bit different. So when I right click here, I do not have a Save As option. So you'll see that you can hit the Save As option on the top there. If this is just too difficult and you're not able to get this working, feel free to email me directly and I can send you a copy of the fillable application in PDF form that you don't have to get from the internet, but it is available there on our site. Again, the application deadline is listed here, January 15th, and my email address is also listed. Application should be, when complete, submitted directly to my email address. And I will put my contact information up at the end so that you can jot that down. I have just images of the application here so that we can walk through each section of the required documentation and what we ask for. The first section here is just contact information, just general organization information. And then we just ask for a quick summary of the program request, the program name and amount. And then on the right side, there's the request for financial information, information in regards to your annual audit and budget information. Also, you'll see that you can choose to align with the strategic objectives here. This next one is pretty straightforward, just asking for the program's missions and goals. We'll get to performance measurement at the end, but typically you'll see that your performance measures tie back to those missions and goals. And the service area and population is just asking for you to tell us about the population that the program serves. On the right side there is the problem statement. Tell us what the problem is that the organization is trying to serve in the community. The next one is the service strategy and proposed results, how the organization plans to address the need or the problem in the community, and the collaboration and partnerships. Does your organization work with other agencies for delivering these services or receive professional guidance and support from memberships that they have with professional organizations? And then the last page of the application is asking for supporting documentation. So a lot of the documents that will support the eligibility requirements that we discussed previously. Salary disclosures, articles of incorporations, those are some examples. If an organization does not have some of these documentation, feel free to give me a call, we can discuss further. And this is our budget template. This is the part of the second document that was saved with the application on our website. So you'll open that and it will just open to an Excel document where you'll fill out two tabs. One is for budget, which is shown here. And the next one we'll go through in a minute is the performance measures. At the top, you'll give some brief information about the program. And then what we're asking you to do is fill out the white areas of this template. You'll notice if you look at the headers at the top that we're asking for the fiscal year 2020 actual revenue and expenses of the organization, this year, the current year's adopted or revised budget, and then this last white column is the proposed year's budget for the organization. So revenue and expenses. The Union County request amount that you're asking for should be listed in this field here, and that will auto-populate in this gray field. And then the amount that you're asking for, let's say you're asking for $10,000, should then be broken out in this expense column here. So if $5,000 is used for programming, you want to come down to the programming line and break out the Union County request amount in this column. So your full expense budget should be here in this column, and then the county funded expenses broken out here. And this is the last portion of the application, is the performance measurement tab in that document. We have two standard measures that are listed there. We ask that you leave those standard measures and provide the information related to those, and then also add additional performance measures. These are for output or counts, and then there's a section for outcome or percentages. I'll read through this at the top just for a little bit more clarification. You'll list your proposed output and outcome measures for the funding. Please add up to 3 to 4 output measures to the 2 that are already listed below, and also 3 to 4 outcome measures. An output measure is a count of what is produced through your program, for example, number of clients served or number of lunches served. And an outcome measure is a result of a program or service and describes impact. It is often expressed as a percentage or ratio, percentage of clients placed in jobs, or percentage of children immunized by age 3. The second column there, you'll see calculation methodology. And there's a brief description at the bottom asking you how to fill in that section. That's showing us how you reach your number. That's at the top, you can see for the output, that's typically just a count or a number. But in that bottom, we're asking for a little bit more detail on how you come to the number. If it is the percentage of clients served, you would put number of clients served divided by total number of clients so that we see how you reach that number. And we're asking for previous year goals and actual values, as well as the proposed target goal for the funding that you would be granted. And I have my contact information listed here, so I'll leave that up while we answer any questions that you may have so that you can jot that information down. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have questions.
Hey, Adrian, this is Brent Lammers at HealthQuest. I had a
Hey,
question
Dave.
about how do you want it submitted to you once before the deadline? And hard copy delivered, do you email file, or what works best for you?
Email is probably the best. You can, I think that's how most of them were submitted last year. We did have a couple that brought them into the office, and that works okay too. But if you would like to save that PDF of the application to your computer and the Excel spreadsheet, you can submit that by email along with any additional documentation. If you have those scanned or in some sort of electronic format, you can just send them right over with that email. If you need to send multiple emails, if the files are too big, you can certainly do that too.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions?
Adrian, do you think you'll be adding any agencies this year?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question.
Do you think you'll be adding any agencies this year to the funding?
Did you ask if they added agencies this year?
Yes.
Yes, there wasn't one additional agency that was funded this past year, or for the current year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Blake, did you have anything that you'd like to add?
No, I didn't. I just want to jump back on for the end of the meeting. Thank you, Adrian.
Sure.
Did anyone else have any other questions or any comments you wanted to share before we close? No?
I hope this was helpful, but if you do have questions as you're going through the application, feel free to reach out by phone or email. We'll provide you with more detail or any assistance that we can.
And I'm sure you mentioned this, Adrian, but all this information will be on our website at Union County. If you go to the government tab to budget management, and then there'll be a sidebar that says community partner process, and you can find this recording, you can find Adrian's presentation, and anything else you might need. And you can always reach out to Adrian at any point for any questions or help with the application or anything you may need. Let's see, it looks like there's a chat. Okay, great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weat. Thanks, Adrian. Great job.
Thanks for joining.